from that joke. It's Christmas, and we have a tradition here on Update with Trey and I. Yeah, you're applauding now. We give each other jokes to read.
Yeah, we're making each other read jokes live on air that the other person has never seen before.
Tip the press off. Now let's put the case. I kind of agree with you.
Like he always does. So this time, if you don't mind, all the jokes in black voice, so I don't get in.
Harry or Meghan or both of them. It may have had something to do with their PR chief, Meredith Maines. Whoever it was, it's from the Sussex side of the fence. I think we can...
Colin, I don't mind. Do what you got to do, man. I don't even know what black voice is.
The idea, I'm assuming, was that if we tip off the press and we put it all over the front page of the papers...
Weird you would bring that up, but please, why don't you do the first joke?
So sorry in advance.
Secret meeting into a kind of gossip circus. What that did...
Well, and it's my understanding that it's made things difficult behind palace walls for the King and Prince William, who was blindsided, finding out about it at the same time you and I did in the Daily Mail. You know?
Wow.
So it's created a lot of animosity all over the place. The King feels betrayed, because obviously he knew that this discussion was happening, and William, obviously, I don't think he would have approved of such a meeting. I don't think he would have seen the value in it.
No, I don't think William wants any part of this. No, I don't think William wants any part of this.
Right, I don't think he would have seen the value in it, and I think he would have advised his father, unless this is personal, have a conversation with your son, but I don't think William wants them anywhere near that family, truly. He recognizes that they're a liability. I think a couple of things could have happened alternatively. Meghan is notoriously a jealous individual. We've seen so many great headlines circulating over the last 2 weeks. Tom Bauer bringing up in his book, Revenge, about how Meghan...
You know something's off when a single joke hits harder than a royal scandal. One punchline, barely a few seconds long, and Meghan Markle's carefully curated image unraveled in real time. No press release, no palace statement. Just a line dropped on SNL, and suddenly...
asked her father to refuse to do the lighting for a school play when she wasn't able to star in the school play, and when he went ahead and did the lighting...
Twitter detectives were having a field day. Yacht photos were trending, and Meghan's PR machine looked like it had lost all traction. What started as a laugh turned into a cultural grenade. The internet wasn't just watching. It was circling. But that was only the beginning. It was supposed to be just another Saturday night.
That she wasn't in this play and that her dad helped light the set. And then, you know, she was ugly to a girlfriend in high school who secured a film role, or who secured a TV show.
Celebrities, sketches, and some roast-worthy headlines. But when Colin Jost stepped up to the Weekend Update desk and casually delivered a jab at Meghan Markle, something shifted. Apparently, one of the new terms in Trump's UK trade deal is we send Meghan Markle back, but only if she deletes her Instagram again.
And in high school who secured a film role, or who secured a TV show role, because she was mad that it wasn't her. Yeah, I mean, we've seen, you and I talked about her issues with alleged, reported issues with Lauren Sanchez.
Cue laughter. The audience howled. On the surface, harmless. Standard late-night trolling, right? Wrong. That one-liner wasn't just a joke. It kicked open a door that royal watchers, tabloid writers, and internet sleuths had been tapping on for years.
Reported issues with Lauren Sanchez. I think she was watching this beautiful buildup of the Wales family over the last week.
Suddenly, the floodgates opened. And Meghan, who had spent the last several years rebranding herself as a polished, relatable, socially conscious duchess, instantly became internet bait. Twitter timelines exploded. TikTok creators started connecting dots that weren't there 5 minutes earlier.
he raised over $1 million for some of his charities through a polo match. This is something we occasionally see Harry try to do in the States, not to the extent that Prince William can execute here.
Reddit threads brought the conspiracy energy. The joke wasn't cruel, but the reaction? That was savage. And what came next would burn hotter than the punchline. Just as the internet finished laughing at the SNL jab, something much darker surfaced. Literally. Grainy but unmistakable, a series of old photos began making the rounds.
Execute here. We saw Catherine multiple times standing ovations at the world's most exciting tennis match.
A woman who looked a little too much like Meghan Markle lounging on a luxury yacht, decked out in designer swimwear, sipping champagne like it was sparkling water. The backdrop? Endless ocean. Expensive boats.
People screaming, "We love you, Kate," as she's walking across the court.
Meghan wouldn't have liked that.
Meghan would never get that. Meghan would never get that.
And men who looked exactly like the kind of people who don't need to check price tags, ever. Some chalked it up to coincidence. But online detectives? They weren't buying it. Twitter, TikTok, and Reddit surged into full investigation mode.
You're damn straight there.
And I think that maybe she would leak this story to distract from the positive press that the Wales family's had lately.
Well, yeah, I mean, I'm wondering whether the actual leak was inspired.
Those bracelets she wore allegedly matched one seen in her Suits promos. Earrings? Suspiciously identical. Even the nail polish sparked debate, an obscure shade that fans linked to a single paparazzi photo from years ago. One post turned into hundreds.
The actual leak was inspired by Meghan, who actually doesn't particularly like the idea of Harry getting back with his family, because we're hearing
Hashtag Yachtgate started climbing trends like wildfire. But it wasn't just about who was in the photos, it was about why Meghan had seemingly spent years trying to erase them. Once those photos hit the timeline, it was game on.
of course, that Harry realises in his dimness, even he realises that any chance of rapprochement, of reconciliation.
TikTok creators turned into forensic analysts overnight. Shadows were examined. Metadata was cross-referenced. Jewelry was zoomed in and compared to old red carpet looks. Even nail polish was matched with eerie precision.
Out of the action, Meghan will not like that. But to go back to the actual breaching of this secrecy, the leaking to the press.
Some users pulled up paparazzi archives, analyzing angles and timestamps like they were solving a cold case. Reddit threads spun into full timelines of Meghan's mysterious pre-royalty years, with users posting side-by-side images, mapping wrist tattoos.
Only heighten the king's suspicions. The king suspects
piercings, even the way she tilted her head. Twitter threads unspooled like conspiracy documentaries in 280 characters. Some fans insisted it was harmless fun, just juicy speculation. But others weren't so kind.
King suspects that Harry cannot be trusted with any private details, that he will leak them, that he's not trustworthy around the kind of details that you don't want to be known.
They started whispering about networking trips, strategic positioning, and the kind of social climbing that feels more scripted than spontaneous. And the narrative shifted fast. Meghan wasn't just the girl on the yacht. She was now the subject of online courtroom drama.
So, this revealing of this summit in the papers, the king will now be even more.
Complete with armchair lawyers and amateur fact-checkers. But that wasn't the most shocking part. It was her response, or lack of one, that took things to a whole new level. As Yachtgate exploded across every platform, Meghan's response was nothing. No Instagram post.
More untrusting of his son, won't he?
Well, I agree with you. I want to go back to something you just said, though. You talked about Meghan's hostility and her not wanting, her dreading Harry reuniting with his family because she knows she'd be excluded.
No official representative statement. No quick interview to clear the air. For someone with a team that could pivot headlines in less than a news cycle, the silence was deafening. And in 2025, silence doesn't read as grace, it reads as guilt. Even her usually vocal supporters were frozen. The stan accounts that once clapped back in seconds?
Excluded. Do you remember how livid she was when she was purposely excluded from the Sandringham Summit? They said, we don't want her there. She's not allowed via Zoom.
Quite. Blue check defenders? Nowhere to be found. The same online army that had shielded Meghan from royal criticism, racism, and relentless tabloid heat suddenly had no ammo. It was like someone unplugged the machine. Worse, that vacuum gave conspiracy theories room to grow fast.
Because we don't trust that she won't secretly record us. So no, it's Harry only. And Meghan Markle is to be totally excluded from this conversation. She went on Netflix and complained about this family.
TikTok turned into chaos. Timelines drew connections from yacht photos to old interviews to red carpet events. Think pieces flooded Medium and Twitter threads. Meghan wasn't just the center of attention anymore. She was the center of obsession. But her silence wasn't just damaging. It was the first crack in the brand she'd spent years building. And the internet? They saw blood in the water. For years, Meghan Markle didn't just have a brand. She was the brand. The underdog turned royal rebel. The feminist icon who clashed with the monarchy, stood for truth, and radiated authenticity. Every podcast, every docuseries, every carefully lit interview reinforced that polished image. Poised, powerful, untouchable. She wasn't just a duchess. She was a narrative. But now, that narrative is collapsing like a house of cards in a windstorm. The internet, once obsessed with her fairy tale glow-up, started revisiting old interviews, and not to celebrate them. Clips of Meghan talking about authenticity triggered replies like, "Sis forgot the yachts," and side-by-side edits questioned how much of her story was ever real. Quotes that used to inspire fans were being reinterpreted as carefully scripted PR lines. Suddenly, she wasn't real anymore. She was calculated. The girl next door image faded fast, replaced with a new online persona: social climber, silent strategist, PR puppet master. Whether any of it was fair didn't matter. In a culture ruled by perception, Meghan was losing control of hers. The feminist trailblazer was now a trending topic, not for her causes, but for her silence, her past, and the question echoing across every platform. Was it all part of the plan? If Meghan was taking hits from every corner of the internet, Harry wasn't far behind, and his fall was even more brutal. Once hailed as the prince who gave it all up for love, Harry had been the emotional core of Meghan's public redemption arc. Remember those clips? The ones where he passionately defended her against the British press? Where he talked about protecting his family from the same forces that haunted his mother? TikTok's stitching those moments next to yacht photos now, with captions like, "The man gave up a crown for this?" The memes weren't just ruthless, they were everywhere. 20-second edits showing fancy yacht parties on one side, Harry's old interviews on the other. Slow zooms on his face with dramatic music. Punchlines sharpened with every scroll. Sympathy turned into sarcasm overnight. And while Meghan stayed silent, so did Harry. No podcast appearances. No interviews. No paparazzi smiles outside charity events. Just radio silence. And in the 24/7 world of internet culture, silence equals weakness. Even fan accounts that used to defend the couple with fierce loyalty were starting to sound confused, desperate for anything to hold on to. But behind closed doors, insiders claim Harry's inner circle knew this would happen, and they warned him. The truly sad part? He didn't believe them until now. Hollywood doesn't mind scandal as long as they control it. But Meghan's PR meltdown? That was off-script chaos. The minute those yacht photos hit the timeline, the whispers behind the curtain started. Studio heads, producers, brand reps. Suddenly, her name started disappearing from meeting invites. Deals that were basically done got iced. Production conversations went from active to ghosted. One source spilled, "Nobody wants to be on page 6 next to her. The vibe is too risky." Because here's what people in Hollywood understand better than anyone else: perception is currency. You don't have to be guilty. You just have to give off the energy of a problem, and right now, Meghan's vibe is radioactive. PR teams don't want to babysit another internet scandal. Sponsors don't want to trend for the wrong reasons. Even the charity circuit, the one place that had always welcomed her, went quiet. No announcements. No guest lists. Just polite, maybe next times. Inside her camp, sources say frustration boiled over. Meghan was reportedly firing off emails in every direction, trying to remind people of the causes she backed, the good she'd done. But in Hollywood, trying to look like an asset is exactly what makes you look like a liability. And the worst part? Meghan knew it. She built this world. Now it was slipping through her fingers. Some celebrities stumble into scandals. Meghan became one. At this point, she wasn't just trending, she was being picked apart like evidence in a courtroom. TikTok turned into CSI. Reddit looked like a digital crime board. People weren't scrolling past her name anymore. They were creating timelines, matching jewelry, screenshotting old blog posts, pulling up yacht rental records from 2014. The kind of deep dives usually saved for true crime, now aimed at a duchess. But here's where it got darker. This wasn't driven by hate. It was driven by fascination. Meghan wasn't just controversial, she was a puzzle. A mystery people couldn't stop trying to solve. And when the internet is obsessed with your downfall, that's not just bad PR. It's a death sentence for your image. Because hate fades. Curiosity doesn't. Obsession drives clicks, comments, new content. It writes its own story. She was no longer seen as a person who had misstepped. She was starting to look like someone who had orchestrated everything. From the breakout interviews to the Netflix deals, the speeches to the scandal, was it all part of something bigger? That question, did she plan this, became the storyline, and the clicks just kept rolling in. And in the digital age, when strangers start building your narrative, good luck getting it back. Meghan Markle didn't just marry into royalty, she married into a global narrative. For years, it was tightly controlled. The outsider-turned-duchess, the woman who fought the system and came out stronger, a beacon of modern royalty. But one late-night joke cracked that polished facade, and the internet didn't stop there. The silence, the resurfaced photos, the changing public vibe, it all collided into something she never saw coming. Because this scandal wasn't just about the yachts. It wasn't about champagne or old photos or even the SNL jab. It was about one brutal truth. When you build a brand on perfection, there's no room for mess. And the internet? It doesn't forget. It doesn't forgive. And it definitely doesn't wait for facts. Now, Meghan's story lives on, but not because she's telling it. It lives because millions of other people are rewriting it in real time. Every TikTok, every Reddit thread, every meme, it's no longer her narrative to protect. It belongs to the internet. She wanted a happily ever after. She got a digital autopsy. And the scariest part? The story's not over. Not even close.